Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you guys to our podcast. We speak about children and the things that are going on with them because nobody else is going to speak for them like how we speak for them. The injustices that these children are facing is absolutely insurmountable. And I say that because it seems like you would think this thing would slow down, maybe come to a halt. People would get some common sense really quick and stop hurting children. As many options as we have between adoption and safe haven and just so many different options that people have. I can't imagine why anybody would ever feel the need that they just don't have any options. The woman that you see on my screen is considered to be a grandmother by the word and affiliation alone, because I don't think she's human. And if you guys listen at what this woman did to her own granddaughter, I think that you would agree with me that this woman needs life in prison with no possibility of return. Okay? Now I'm going to say some things in this stream that may or may not sit well with your sensibilities. If you can't handle that, I understand, because this ain't no news station. All right? We are here to fight for the children and speak for them in a way that I believe we just have to have more of an honest conversation about what's going on with our babies and our society. This story comes out of Cincinnati, and a South Fairmont woman now faces murder charges for the death of her 2-year-old granddaughter. And let me say that again. 2-year-old. And I feel so bad about this story, and I'm going to be real transparent. I did the best I could to try to find family or friends of her or anybody who cared about this baby, that somebody might have posted a picture. I could not find a single picture of this beautiful little baby. So all I have is a name to be able to give you guys. But her 2-year-old granddaughter, LaTanya Austin, is that demon right there that y'all see on my screen, and was previously only charged with gross abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. Now, Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters said Austin struck her granddaughter by the name of Zayla Lee, which is spelled Z-A-I-L-A, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. I want to put some respect on this baby's name. Zayla Lee, 2 years old, on March the 24th, causing her death. Let me back this picture up real quick because I want you guys to take a look at this filthy, nasty house on a hill. Looks like a haunted house. That don't even look like a house that a human should be living in. And I know people think that I'm a little bit too harsh about people who may or may not have sufficient means to provide decent housing. But let me say this. Maybe we should just think about, before we acquire children, to get a place to be able to house these children properly first. Is that too much to ask? I know people keep getting mad and upset at me because you feel like I'm clowning and bashing on people just because they might not be financially stable, might not be financially feasible for them to have a decent looking place. But I'm like, God dog, like that place looks like it wouldn't even be suitable for a homeless person. Like if you were just giving a homeless person a house for free, I wouldn't throw them in this place. Am I being too mean? Are y'all that, is your skin really thin? Are y'all that sensitive? I know it's not everybody, but I'm just saying, I do read my comments, and I'm just saying, I would not raise a human being, let alone a dog, inside of that house. Just saying. He also said that the 2-year-old baby, Zayla, suffered a deep laceration and a broken arm after her death. Wow. And keep in mind, this is after this baby was hit so hard, and y'all know that's blunt force trauma usually. That means this baby was beat up by a grown adult is what we suspect, okay? Now, the little girl's body, and I want to warn you guys, this is about to get really bad. So brace yourselves about these details. This baby's body was found in a cooler on grandma's property. Let me warn you again. The details are about to get worse on top of that. Not only was this baby's body found in a cooler on grandma's property, but this baby was sliced up. This baby, this what used to be a human being, a baby, body was separated and put into multiple trash bags. Now, I know a lot of people say to me, they say, Jay, I can't listen to your channel. It's really hard to listen to what these babies have to go through. But I'm like, if that's the hardest thing we have to do, I don't think it's that bad for us to be able to listen at these children's stories. Especially when you compare it to what they actually had to live through and what they died through. I feel like as a society, we owe it to these children to hear their story. Maybe that will inspire us in our heart to be able to do something to stop this, because this is ridiculous. The grandmother originally told police that the little girl was killed by her sibling who shook her and then cut her with scissors. Let me read that again. Look at how nasty that is. That house looked like it came out of World War II or something. Absolutely disgusting. Let me say that again. Grandma blamed it on this little girl's sibling and said that the sibling shook the baby and cut the baby with scissors, a 2-year-old. She later admitted that the 2-year-old baby had been dead for a month, according to investigators. Now, how sick is that? Where are they making these grandmothers at? I'm sorry, but I'm from the old school, okay? I might not look like I'm 40 years old, but I'm from the old school. And last time I checked, I just don't remember grandmas being this heinous, this nasty, this disgusting. To be hiding murders of their grandchildren, lying, cheating, deceiving, shooting, stabbing, burning, sticking them in ovens and all kind of other crazy grandmothers. Yes, y'all heard that right. And then kept the baby's body in a cooler. No, we don't call 911. A human being is dead. You don't call 911, even if it was an accident. Hashtag, where are the parents? Thank you. Where are the biological parents? And I'm going to tell you guys this, because a lot of people tend to point the blame at CPS. A lot of us do this. I've done it in the past. I don't do it anymore. CPS is only a program put into place to try to help in these situations. It is not an end-all, fix-all. It's not a perfect situation. It's not a perfect system. It has its flaws because it's ran by humans. So it's definitely going to be flawed. I put the blame on the biological mother and biological father of the death of this child. Why do I say it's mom and dad's fault? Why were they not the caretakers of this kid? We haven't heard a statement from them. What this sounds like is that the child was living with grandma. We don't know that to be a fact, because ain't nobody came out and said anything, but yet they'll email me all these threats talk about, you's lying on me, Just Jay. Eyes don't like your video. Eyes want you to take your video down. Me and my lawyers gonna take you to court because you made me look bad on your podcast. I'm gonna leave the nastiest comment that I possibly can to make you feel bad about what you's doing on your news station. Let alone putting the children last of their concerns. But I think it's highly egregious when a biological mother and biological father, two individuals, can't work together somehow, some way, between two sides of a DNA biological family to be able to provide a safe environment for a child. I don't blame that on the system. That's a failure on us. Let's move on. This baby had been dead for a month. That is just sick. They said it's impossible to comprehend the depravity of an individual able to not only strike a 2-year-old so hard to cause her death, but to then attempt to conceal that crime by stuffing the child's lifeless body into a cooler. As a father and a grandfather, I'm sick, said Dieters in a news release. I am saying a prayer for the victim's siblings and the members of the Cincinnati Police Department who had to process and investigate this horrible scene. A neighbor told the news that Zayla's parents now live in North Carolina. They left her with Austin in August of 2020, 9 months before her body was found in that cooler. So there's the answer to where the parents were. I'm going to read that again because that really makes me upset. The parents left their daughter with grandma silly string hair, left the baby with her in August of 2020. Y'all do realize this is June of 2021. Excuse me. What, no, this is June. Yeah, I'm not July. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is June of 2021. They left this baby with her of August of 2020. So I stand by what I said, and these parents ain't the S word. Cause I'm trying not to curse. I'm trying to be a good person on YouTube and stop getting flagged and all of that stuff. So I'm gonna try to mind my language. These are terrible parents. I don't care what reason it was. You know what? I can understand if you left your kid with grandma maybe for a couple days, maybe for a week. You know, I took my daughter to camp for a week. Out of state, me and my daughter went out there, had a great time, brought her back. Amazing time. I could understand maybe a month. But I'm sorry, if you're a biological mother or biological father, there's no way your kid should be with anybody else for more than 4 weeks. That's ridiculous, let alone 9 months. I don't know how y'all feel about that, but I think that's too much on anybody. Because that was not her kid, but that definitely didn't give her the right to murder the kid, okay? She's being charged with aggravated murder, and felonious assault, in addition to her original charges. Dieter says she could face life in prison if she gets convicted, which we expect that to happen. Now, Austin was arrested on May the 9th, and she is locked up currently on a $500,000 bond on the initial charges. So I seriously doubt if she's going to get out on a $500,000 bond. Let me show you guys a couple of news stories, and then I'll get back to my personal thoughts right after this. Let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Mother accused of putting her granddaughter's body in a cooler appeared in court today for the first time. Our Local 12's James Pilcher joining us now live from the Breaking News Center with just what came out of that court appearance. James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Liz. Yes, Hamilton County prosecutors have charged 42-year-old LaTonya Austin with abuse of a corpse, and she was arraigned in Hamilton County Court this morning. She was given a $25,000 bond after prosecutors asked for a very high bond number. They argued in court that the body may have also been dismembered. Now, the original complaint only said that the granddaughter's name was ZL and did not list an age of the deceased. The detective in the case said in that complaint,
and ZL stands for Zayla, Z-A-I-L-A, Lee, L-E-E, Zayla Lee,
that Austin placed the body in several trash bags before putting it into that cooler. Here's what the prosecutors said in court today.
But the facts that the state does have paint a pretty disturbing picture about what was located by the police. The fact that multiple trash bags was used indicates to the state that there may have been dismemberment involved. Based on the shocking nature of what has occurred, we'd be asking for a high bond.
Again, we don't know how the granddaughter died, and Austin is only charged with a 5th-degree felony of abuse of a corpse. That carries a penalty of up to a year in prison and or a fine of $2,500. Now, we're hoping to catch up with Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters later this afternoon to get more on this case, and I'll be back at 4 and 6 here on Local 12 with
this. And I absolutely agree. For whoever said that in the chat that said that she definitely doesn't look like she's 42, that means me and her are almost the same age, and she looks like she could be like my like not even my mother. She looks older than my mom. Like she easily look a good 70-something. So I agree.
This home on Schrodinger Avenue clearly marked a crime scene. Tonight, the woman who lives here, 42-year-old LaTonya Austin, is in jail, charged with abuse of a corpse. According to court documents, Austin placed the deceased body of her granddaughter into multiple trash bags, then placed the bags into a cooler.
My understanding, she was in different garbage bags. I mean, these kids are being treated like garbage or a pet you hate.
He said it perfectly. I know he's looking at this like, what the hell, man? What in the absolute hell? Let me let y'all hear this again. Chop the baby's body up. Look at her face. Now, come on. Now look. I know y'all be like, well, Just Jay, you need to stop making fun of people. Screw that. Look at her face. And y'all tell me that she looks like she's my age. That woman easily looked like she a good 60. 60 plus 60, 70 in the face. She looks an absolute mess. And I don't want to hear nobody blame this on, oh, well, she was mentally ill. She was going through things. Y'all need to stop that. Stop it. Stop it. Right now. Don't do that no more. Don't continue to keep giving people who murder and abuse children excuses. There is no excuse. There is a special place in hell for people like that, especially with a face like that. That face looks like it deserves to be on a stick sitting next to Satan in hell. How about that? Stop making excuses for baby murderers.
Placed the deceased body of her granddaughter into multiple trash bags, then placed the bags into a cooler.
My understanding, she was in different garbage bags. I mean, these kids are being treated like garbage or a pet you hate.
Dieters said today the child was just 2 years old.
It is unbelievable what is going on.
Court documents allege the crime took place at this South Fairmount home April 9th. Austin was arrested Saturday night. Cincinnati police say this is an ongoing investigation and would not comment on how they believe the child died, when she died, or if anyone is suspected of a crime in her death. We also don't know what led police to this home. Several vacant homes line the block. A neighbor at one of the occupied homes didn't want to go on camera, but he described Austin to me, saying sometimes she talked to you, other times she wouldn't. He also said he often saw a lot of people, including children, at the house.
And according to court documents, Austin was arrested on Lynn Street. Right now, she is in jail. No bond has been set in the case. However, she is due back in court tomorrow morning for a bond hearing. Reporting live outside police headquarters, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
And I don't even think whether, she gets a different bond or not. As long as the bond stays really high, I'm all good with it. But I do have a couple things that I want to say. First of all, I want to know if there's some people out there that believe that you have read from the Bible and ever heard this. I want to know how many people have ever heard this when they say you're not supposed to judge Only God can judge me. You are not supposed to judge. Have you guys ever heard somebody say that and then actually tell you that it says that in the Bible? Because I want y'all to think about that so-called Bible verse, and think about this case. I've heard plenty of people say that. I've heard plenty of people come to my channel trying to argue that the Bible says we are not supposed to judge, which is actually not what it says at all. You want me to tell you what it actually says and what it means? Judge lest thou be judged. All it means is have righteous judgment. Do not judge unless you are going to be judged by the same standard. So the standard that you set, be prepared to be judged by that exact same standard. Anybody and everybody is supposed to judge, right? I actually talked about this at camp, and I tried to explain it to some folks that actually had it wrong also, right? You think about it. You have to judge whether something is safe or not, right? You have to judge whether to let somebody in your house or not. You have to make a good judgment call about somebody you're going to date or not, somebody you're going to have unprotected sex with or not, right? You have to make a judgment call about when to pull your car out into the street, when it's safe or not, huh? You have to make a judgment call when it comes to who's going to babysit your children, if it's safe enough. These are all judgments. You have to judge if you're going to step on a spider, or judge if a spider, or excuse me, or a snake is poisonous or not, right? We judge. Everybody is supposed to judge. Therefore, if we're supposed to be like Christ and do as Christ, if Christ is going to judge us at Judgment Day, then should we not be judging the actions that we make here while we are living on earth? And the people who are judge righteously, thank you. Thank you. Judge righteously. Judge lest thou be judged. This woman's going to hell. I'm putting that judgment on her. Y'all understand what I'm saying? We got to start getting tougher in America, especially when it comes to defending our children. You have to look at that house and make a judgment call and say, you know what? It looked like Freddy Krueger lives in that damn house. Looked like Jason Voorhees died inside that house. Look at that. Judgment call. I don't think that house looks safe enough for a human being to live in. Judgment call. Huh? Where was the biological mother and biological father? I think that they are bad parents for not having their children for whatever reason for 9 months. Judgment call. This woman is going to face Judgment Day, not only here on earth, but in hell, because that's where she's going. She's going to have a court date. I believe she's going to get life in prison. We're going to put her on the first thing smoking off this earth when we get an opportunity to do so. Because she does not deserve life for what she did to that baby. Come on, man. Even if it was an accident, you didn't call 911, you didn't call the authorities, you didn't do anything. What did she do? Here's what I believe she did. I believe she got mad because somebody dumped this baby off on her and just left the baby there high and dry. She didn't love this baby. She didn't care about this baby. You know why? Because she was not collecting benefits off of this kid like most people try to do who are bad parents. Hashtag babies for benefits. She was getting no benefits. Therefore, she hated that baby being in her possession, and she treated the baby as such. She hit the baby until the baby died, and then I don't even know if you were trying to hide the death of the child, because you cut the child's body up into pieces, put it into garbage bags, and put it into a cooler. How stupid could you possibly be? It just doesn't get much dumber than that. This woman is absolutely slower than a bottle of molasses that have been left in an ice box. If she was a box of crayons, she'd probably be, maybe a navy blue. Because she's definitely not the brightest crayon in the box. This is actually a picture from 2011. Y'all tell me that woman don't look like it's something wrong with her. And what makes this case even worse for me is the fact that I have 0 pictures of Zayla Lee, 2 years old. We can't even honor this baby's legacy. And that sucks. Because I can almost guarantee you in 9 months, she didn't love this kid. She didn't take no pictures of this kid. And I don't know why there aren't any pictures out there. But if y'all do have a picture, I know I'd love to be able to at least update our thumbnail and show some love and respect for baby Zayla Lee. This baby cannot speak for herself, nor could she defend herself against the tyranny of her own grandmother. And I just don't know where they build grandmothers at like this. You don't have a soul if you do something like this. That baby deserves justice, and we hope to get justice against this woman. We'll give you guys a verdict whenever we find out what that's going to be after her court date. She's over and done with. Get her out of here. All right? I'm DJ Just Jay, and thank you guys so much for listening with an open mind and an open heart. Thank you.